that R&D investment is coming from a brick industry, or click industry information. Term paper, 6-month term paper. Okay, I wrote some of them and send it to Managerial Finance journal, Managerial Finance, subscribed by the universities across the world. They accept article as it is. If you go the R&D investment managerial finance, put my name in managerial finance, and there will be a article about the back here, right after this, to see how stock market differentiate R&D for brick industry from R&D for click industry. He found no difference. Jamie is current CFO of the Arama Corporation. So I said, I told him, we have a brand new program. You want to go through another Master of Accountancy program because the one you have is not rigorous enough. He said, no, I'm fine. He's the CFO. That is a accounting. Well, they ignore a hard information, accounting information. What about a 2007 the financial book? Financial book, not textbook, financial book. We all know this financial book. Under this financial book, what happened was, look at the back. SEC allow mark-to-market accounting. So they have loan receivable. They made a loan, and this was mark-to-market. What is the mark-to-market? You, depending upon market price up and down, that price will go over here. This is an extreme case of fair value accounting, mark-to-market accounting. You mark your asset to the market. So increase and decrease, fluctuation will come right here. What happened right after here? 2001 through 2007, price has been going up. Now the central bank, federal FRB has their share of blame because they kept interest rate really long. Everyone has easy access to finance. If you have 2 jobs in your household, both husband and wife, right, 2 spouses have a job, they eligible for $250,000 or jumbo mortgage. Jumbo mortgage is I think $500,000, $450,000, $500,000. And everyone has easy access, cheap cash. Everyone has access. People manage got the money. And real estate market has been booming and booming. So their loan receivable has been going up and up. So their equity has been going up and up because this going up, unrealized gain. See, this is the AFS, available for sale portfolio here. Unrealized gain or loss go to stockholders' equity section. So this has been increasing. You know what they did after this? They took on more debt. Since asset value is going up, I can borrow more. So they did aggressive financing. When market collapse, this will go down, but you think this will go down? No, this stays. This is what happens. When this collapse, this stays. Does not balance. Does not balance. Therefore, this example is used against the adoption of IFRS fair value accounting. See what happened in finance bubble? If something like this happens, there is no way bank will forgive your debt. You're stuck with a reduced asset price, but then you have obligation, you promise to pay. You end up having this. Speculation came here, speculation. Management estimation of future cash flow a generation. In other words, they say, oh, loan receivable, this will turn into cash. They speculated on here. Once they have this, stock market will look at this, stock price will go up because it's going up. Stock price goes up, this will go up. Keep feeding each other. Speculation brings into financial statement. This increase share prices, that same share price increase this asset side, keep increasing each other, collapse at once. Once you speculated on a asset prices, this is what happens. That's why we need to look at the whole point of emphasizing these two instances as a intrinsic value. Looking for intrinsic value. Financial analysts will do anything to find out true value. This is a true value. See, we have a book value and market value here. Market value. Intrinsic value, some of you will find out intrinsic value using that spreadsheet model that I post. Downloading all financial statements, Excel data into that formula, and then you compute, assuming your assumptions, some of the growth assumption and beta assumption, then you will find out intrinsic value. Intrinsic value might be higher than market value, lower than market value, higher than market value, undervalued, lower than market value, overvalued. Buy and sell, whole decision will come out of your a decision. So we say this is the intrinsic premium. Intrinsic premium. Book value over true price as an intrinsic premium. And this is market premium. Market premium. Now you're challenging market with this model. Stock price is $40 per share. There is no way for me to support that $40 per share using financial information available. You challenging a capital market using all your assumptions. You came up with the intrinsic value of $35 per share. That has been overvalued. Issue sell recommendation. This is your task. This could be this. Yeah, this could be this. Why there is a difference between this and this? Well, the same accounting transaction, a financial analyst in the market may be overly optimistic about the outcome of that transaction, like contingent liability. But you say, okay, no, this probability is 8%. I will book this to income statement right away. EPS nowhere near to a $5 per share if you do that. And that's the idea of using financial information, and this is an intersection between accounting information and a finance information, capital market information. Accounting has been separate subject from a finance and stock market up until 1968. Until 1968, accounting doesn't have to do stock price. 1968, Professor Ball, Chicago now, proved earnings change reported by firm affect stock prices. 1968. 1968 and on, you can separate accounting from finance. These are together. So exercise, some of you will be doing case analysis, but the valuation, the idea of valuation is to find out the intrinsic value of the firm. Now, in the morning, I was waiting for the window update, so I forget about this. But this is the accounting perspective of two crises, and some says one more crisis is developing. One more crisis. Well, look at the interval. 15. We'll find out. That's the problem. We'll find out later. I think, for one thing, Chinese stock market has been overly weak now. And when they find out into the value of that market, I think we'll have to go through another major adjustment. Okay, now Walmart operating assets and liability. Now, by now, we know a operating and non-operating. So none of the stockholders equity section here, and we were cash 100% of the cash, but we know the rule, but not much difference. 1.5 to 2% cash. That's not much difference. But still, cash and cash equivalent, and here a short-term borrowing, long-term debt within a year, obligation under capital is due within a year, all finance. See, liability, financing, capital lease, asset, operating. All assets are operating, right? Asymmetrical. We talk about asymmetrical treatment here, right here. So Walmart NOA is the total operating asset and total operating liability. So they have NOA, net operating assets. They are employing much more asset than liability. So if you take this average, that will be used for your denominator for RNOA. NOPAT over average of these two will be 2013 the RNOA. RNOA is that, ROA, net income attributed to controlling interest, average equity attributed to controlling interest. See, in order to be sophisticated analysis, you have to adjust for a usually few percentage, but then few percentage could be material amount. So 90%, 90% of controlling interest. The current accounting under entity method will say net income. So okay, consolidated net income is income attributable to parent company net income and subsidiary net income. You have to set aside this. Subsidiary net income and let's say a minority interest. It's more technical term. Minority interest, non-controlling income attributable to non-controlling interest, income attributable to controlling interest. And this is consolidated retained earning. Consolidated retained earning is a parent company retained earning and minority interest, non-controlling interest, retained earning. So you have to show non-controlling share of income and retained earnings. So you can find out non-controlling aspect here. Two different areas. First, net income statement, stockholders' equity statement. That's the current rule. Now, before 2007, you can find out this here. This was outside of stockholders' equity, right between debt and equity. That's why we say hybrid securities. Not anymore. It's the inside of equity. Inside, you will find out your share inside of stockholders' equity account. It's a little bit redundant. What term that we don't use much, but this is the term now we have to use. ROE, NOPAT, NOA, RNOA, so here, NNE, and there are more here, more, FO, FA, NNO. This is forward, so we get two components, we already did that, NOPAT, average NOA, profit margin, and asset turnover, and we already know the combination of these two will determine a RNOA. So for industry, if profit margin is small, then you have to increase turnover. Profit margin is high, you don't have to increase, but you can increase the turnover. So product of these two will determine your RNOA, just like ROE model, DuPont traditional model. profit margin, level of gross profit. Your firm gross margin is going down. Industry average is going up. Your client firm gross margin is going down. Compared to rival company, your client's gross margin is also going down. What is your suggestion? Where would you look at to find out this problem? What's going on? Your profit margin is going down compared to industry average, compared to your rival company.
Look at the cost of goods sold.
Hmm?
Look at the cost of goods sold.
Or look at the cost of goods sold. The sales is going up, but cost of goods sold is going up. Why cost of goods sold going up? What's the reason? That's the question. What's the reason why you see cost of goods sold going up? That's why you have a low margin, right here. Low margin. What could be reason why you have everyone is having good time? Sales goes up, your client, rival company, industry is enjoying market increase, expansion of the market. Now why only your gross profit is going down when sales goes up? Which means cost of goods sold is going up. What's the good reason why your company is experiencing increase in cost of goods sold when everyone else is enjoying this increase in gross profit as well?
Not utilizing your inventory, like too much waste.
Inventory. Slow moving item sitting around warehouse. Obsolete item is piling up. Inventory could be one reason. What could be other reason? Two primary reasons. Your purchase practice. In order to purchase a round of inventory, see, from audit class, I'm sure you are familiar with source document and from your work. In order to have one round of purchase, you have purchase requisition, purchase order, PO, purchasing document, and now invoice, and now receiving report later on. Now bill of lading prior to receiving report, and then here other source document. If you go one round of this purchase, now huge overhead. If you have frequent purchase, this is typical case. Frequent purchase, you don't know EOQ. How much is EOQ? EOQ. Anyone remember EOQ? What's the EOQ?
Economic order quantity.
Economic order quantity. Mario just passed first part. Economic order quantity. See EOQ. 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 Economic order quantity is amount just enough to maintain inventory level, not to lose your future client. If you're out of stock, they will go somewhere else, other rival company. You don't want to do that. So in order not to be out of stock, in order to maintain reasonable level of stock, you have to maintain. Now, this means you have to carefully plan how many items you will place an order for one round of purchase, because one round of purchase is extremely expensive, time-consuming and costly. Can you believe 7 copies of this to each department source page? Now email, right? Email. 7 different personnel must follow copies of what's going on with this transaction. Whenever you receive merchandise, you have to investigate, inspect it, to see whether there is a defect. And another time-consuming, costly procedure. So finding out EOQ and placing. Look, if you pile up too much, if you have too much inventory, I'll give you some of the examples that you might have extra cost. What would the expense cost you have if you keep extra inventory? Storage. Insurance, right? Storage, warehouse, insurance on that storage, and what else? Breakage, obsolete item. You have a spoilage, moving expense. You move around, you're moving around within the warehouse. Additional amount of work, there is a chance for being outdated. That's obsolete here, obsolete. This is a huge risk depending upon the item. So this level of gross profit is not just mechanically calculated from your income statement. No, you need way more than that. Do legwork. If you're CPA, if you just rely on client company this financial statement to satisfy yourself with the level of cost and gross margin, probably you will get into trouble. You have to do this. Do you need it? Level of operating expense, yes. And level of competition, and well, this is the one of the chorus 5. Competition will determine price of merchandise, selling price, and availability of substitute will also determine the price. So you have that will squeeze your margin, and you have to stay with in margin, and that will affect your gross margin level. NOPM, net operating margin. If Walmart made $100 sale, $4 is net margin, net operating margin, which is realistic. Net operating margin 4%. Median NOPM for all public, $8 out of $100. Margin. Remember, this is net operating margin, not net income. This is operating margin. This turnover is a measure of efficiency, productivity. We already did. Level of sales, company realize each dollar invested in net operating. So higher NOAT is preferable, of course. But then, once again, this is industry dependent. For NOAT, utility industry, this is way below 1. Way below. Other industry, much higher than that. Nothing wrong having less than 1, really low asset turnover for utility industry, because their operating asset is multi-billion-dollar power plant. Their denominator is underground pipe. Whereas their operating income, well, fixed. 100,000 electricity bill to the household in that area. The good advantage of their operation is to forecast their operating cash flow for years to come, 99% accuracy. That's one thing they have. But then their asset structure doesn't allow them to have higher than 1 a net operating asset turnover, which is normal for that industry. Walmart 3.73, which is good. Their margin is thin, therefore they must have a higher turnover. Their 4 cents per $100, 4 multiplied by 3.73 will give them a RNOA of 14%. 4 multiplied by 3.73. In other words, during the year, they realized 3.73 times of $4 net operating margin out of 100 sales. So they are turning over fairly quickly to have 14% RNOA. All public 1.3. $3.73 scale, 1.3, and for utility industry, this is way below 0.45 range, depending upon your asset structure. Look at here. This one, if you below this one, this is less than 12 or more than 12. So some of the industrial conglomerate, this one is way below here, 1.5, 13. So if you do this, this is a 22-3% here. But here you have about 12 to 13% green line. So it's nice to, once you pick your company, find out the turnover and profit margin, and then pinpoint a line here, and that will tell you stock prices. Stock prices compared to rival company. If your dot is here, then you will get some pressure from the market. They are outperformers here. If you are on the above green line. Non-operating, we did that in with here our formula. But here ROE is two components: operating return (RNOA) and non-operating return from financial leverage. Financial leverage formula, we already know that financial leverage. This company borrowed $500, 7% interest rate. So here total operating asset is 1,500 and a profit is 265. Now here, profit from asset financed by equity 20% is 200. Financed with debt 20% 500, 100. But there is an interest expense. The interest expense from debt 7% of 500, 35, 65. So this will be net profit 265. So there is advantage of leverage. This is a leverage effect. 30 here. Leverage effect is by borrowing debt, ROE is not now a 20%, now it's a 26.5% because your cost of borrowing is a 7%, but you made this 20%. For every dollar you borrow, you end up having 13% a better up. In other words, margin, operating margin, spread. We say operating spread was 13%. So for $500, 13% end up in $65. 13% of a 500 is a $65. So 6.5, 26.5% instead of 20%. So by taking on debt, you increase your financial leverage. By taking risk, your return went up by 6.5% because you did much better than a cost of borrowing. Cost of borrowing is 7%. You end up realizing 20% on borrowed funds. That's the effect of leverage. And opposite side of that will be after example. If you have too much cash sitting on, you're not using it, that penalize ROE. In this case, you borrow money and make more money than interest, then you are posting higher ROE. Now, question: how much more? How much you have to make? If you borrow too much debt, your creditor will intervene in your operations. You might lose your control. There's a fine balance between equity financing and debt financing. Yeah, according to this, yeah, great. So why don't I borrow a couple $1,000 more? Then this gap, 13%, 2,000 instead of 500. By then, bank might take control. control over your operation. That's the another big disadvantage of losing control to bank, because major creditor is a major say in your operation. So that's the, so this is a direct ratio. Now, the first ratio you will be asked to present, show, was direct ratio when you go to a bank for new finance. I need fresh financing. Let me see your debt equity ratio here. Commercial printing, trucking, industrial conglomerate, cable and satellite, aerospace and defense, electric utilities, paper product. Why do you think they have huge debt equity ratio? Look at this guy, 5 times more equity. Their debt is 5 times more than their equity. Why do you think? This is the industry average. They can't take on this much of debt. Why? As opposed to here, consumer, semiconductor equipment, home furnishing, retail, semiconductors, healthcare, distributor, leisure, office. Compared to this is less than 1. In other words, equity is higher than debt. Now, here, why?
Maybe because the ones with the higher numbers are more asset intensive.
Asset intensive. In other words, if they have a consistent cash inflow from daily sales or a huge asset base, based upon consistent cash flow, government, because they can't fight bankers. By definition, they can print up more money. So as long as either they have capital intensive business, in which case they mortgage their asset to borrow more, or consistent cash flow, and the packaged food and meat, the cash business. This is a cash business. If that is the case, you can take on more debt, as opposed to here, tech, high tech. Can you mortgage your employee to borrow money? Yeah, hey, we just hire XYZ from Intel. We pay $2 million. Then we borrow $2 million. No, here labor intensive. That will determine that equity ratio. Years ago, Fortune magazine says, as I said in the first day of class, number 2 test. 2 of the most important modern day U.S. corporation CEO tests is this. Number 1, reporting smooth income increasing pattern. Here, income has to be increased smoothly. That's the number 1 test for CEO. Number 2, making fine balance between debt and equity. This is age-old questions. How much debt is good? How much equity is good? We know which one is more expensive, which one is less expensive, how much of debt financing, how much of equity financing is good for our operation is empirical question. As you move along, you are acquiring more target company, your operating cash flow configuration will change. Fixed operating cash flow becoming more variable, fluctuating. And you have to change your capital structure depending upon different pattern of operating cash flow configuration. This is one of the most challenging tests to see. One reason why more and more Fortune 500 CEO has either CPA or CFA licenses. Yeah, there's a study out in the CPA magazine. See, in your office, 9 o'clock in the morning, there's a report. You are doing business in 120 different countries. 9 o'clock, you have about 30 minutes to digest what happened last night worldwide. There will be bullet points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullet points. You have to digest all the information in 30 minutes before you go to meeting. Unless you are cut out for numbers, there's no way you can understand worldwide operation overnight. But by reading the whole book, you don't have time. And I don't think this is unusual that the more and more CFO for sure, even CEO is getting professional license. You have to. If you rely on, in good old days, if something goes wrong with financial reporting, CEO goes court and press conference. Look, guys, I don't do the numbers. I am CEO. That doesn't fly anymore. After Sarbanes-Oxley law, you have to sign off your financial statement. CFO, CEO must sign off. Something goes wrong there, you are criminally liable now. After 2001, you can be indicted for criminal offense if that financial statement contains misleading information and you knowingly let them go through this financial reporting process and have this misleading information. This is becoming more tricky. Many of you suggest, some of you here, your project will do ratio analysis. Yes, module 3. You have to now look at operating, non-operating. Tab number 2 of the Excel spreadsheet I post will compute all the ratios you need. Remember, we are not sticking with conventional ratios. Whenever you make decision and valuation spreadsheet, will be based upon that operating, non-operating, not conventional coupon model. Because conventional coupon model will lead you wrong decisions. For this reason also, measurability. Financial statement reflect what can be reliably. In other words, there are a bunch of assets are missing. Some of them are not recorded at all. And some of them are very old, 20, 30, 40 years old, value. Others is problem of analyzing these ratios. You compute ratios, for example, current ratios, quick ratio. You use consolidated financial statement and you're making decision. Okay, this company deserves $5 million fresh loan. I made that decision. Month later, you find out they filed Chapter 11. Now, this problem, what else could be the problem? If we have number 40. Now these are standard problems with gap. Historical cost, not recording intangible asset because of subjectivity involved in valuation, and there is a problem with the measurement. So we are excluding internally developed intangible asset because of this. What would be this? One more problem before we go to ratios. Well, current ratio is coming from a consolidated financial statement. Now, remember, consolidated financial statement is parent company plus S1 plus S2 all the way S1000 for a major Fortune 50 company. Now, current ratio is current ratio for this 1000 company. On the average, this current ratio is 3:1 for 1000 company. Good, more than enough. What if out of 1000 subsidiary, let's assume 250 subsidiary is about to file Chapter 11. Average for 1000 plus parent company, 3:1. Good, that's what you reading from financial statement. You make decision based upon it. What if they file bankruptcy? Which is easily happen. In other words, using consolidated financial statement, we tend to make overly optimistic decision because company has 3-to-1 current ratio. In fact, they are having less than 1-to-1 current ratio. Because of this average, we see 3-to-1. Parent company, one of the parent company, or some subsidiary has 10-to-1, 20-to-1, huge cash and current asset. So by taking average, it came out to be 3-to-1. But then, this is the fallacy of compositions, which is when you taking average, there is a pitfall that problems associated with taking average. Here, this is another big problem. So the other day, I compared this consolidated financial statement to what? Yeah, some of them bad. Most of them good, some of them bad. This bad guy, if they are really bad, that will continually hold a bowl of system, which means consolidated end as a